The dark side of fame. Not everyone famous can handle it. From Travis Kelce, who will become the most hated person in the world if Taylor Swift dumps him, Selena Gomez, who is always around controversy, Kylie Jenner, who always gets exposed for her beauty products, and lying about being a billionaire. You won't believe who made this list.
So numb to people talking about my looks at this point, and I just want to know why on the internet no one says anything.
Ariana Grande. Wicked has become a huge success, but it might be Ariana Grande's last movie ever.
Last year, she was getting a ton of backlash, and there were periods of time this year, right after her album release, that she was also getting a ton of backlash.
Will Wicked Part 2 be boycotted? The main controversy surrounding Ariana Grande and the Wicked movie stems from the initial casting announcement. Some fans and critics expressed concerns about her acting abilities, given her primarily musical background. There were doubts about whether she could convincingly portray the iconic role of Glinda the Good Witch.
Of course. Not to you.
There were initial casting concerns for Ariana Grande. Some fans expressed doubts about Grande's acting abilities and her suitability for the role of Glinda. However, these concerns have largely subsided as more information about her performance has emerged.
It's very complicated because conflicting and troublesome sometimes.
Kylie Jenner. Misleading advertising. The brand has been accused of using filters and editing techniques to create unrealistic expectations about the appearance of its products. This has led to disappointment among consumers who have purchased products based on heavily edited promotional images.
Today we're hearing from Kylie Jenner, who is currently exhausted with the constant comments that she's getting about her looks.
Animal testing controversy. While Kylie Cosmetics itself does not conduct animal testing, some of its suppliers have been linked to animal testing practices. This has raised ethical concerns among consumers who prioritize cruelty-free products. Price point and value. The relatively high price point of Kylie Cosmetics products has been criticized, especially considering the quality issues and the availability of similar products at more affordable prices. Product quality issues. Customers have frequently complained about the quality of Kylie Cosmetics products, particularly the lip kits.
Kylie matte lip kits are $29. You do get 2 products, and it is kind of up there in price. I don't hate this whole collection.
Issues such as product dryness, cracking, and bleeding have been widely reported.
It is so drying. I could not handle it.
Blake Lively faced significant backlash for her casting in the film It Ends With Us. The controversy primarily stemmed from the fact that the character she portrayed, Lily Bloom, is a white woman from Maine. Many critics argued that a Latina actress should have been cast for the role, as it would have been more authentic and respectful to the source material's original intent. The backlash was intensified by Hollywood's long history of whitewashing, where white actors are often cast in roles that were originally written for characters of color. Critics argued that this practice perpetuates harmful stereotypes and limits opportunities for actors of color. The controversy sparked a wider conversation about diversity and representation in Hollywood, with many calling for increased opportunities for actors of color and a more nuanced approach to casting decisions. In 2024, Oprah Winfrey faced a significant backlash due to her association with controversial figures and her apparent lack of action in addressing serious allegations. Another controversy arose from her involvement with the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. Reports of poor conditions, bullying, and assault within the school tarnished her philanthropic image. Additionally, Oprah's endorsement of certain products and brands has sometimes drawn criticism, with some accusing her of promoting potentially harmful or misleading products. Jake Paul, we all got hustled. Jake Paul figured out a way to get tens of millions of dollars for a fight that didn't make sense. In 2025, it seems like millions of people want to boycott and not participate anymore. Age and physical condition. Mike Tyson, despite his legendary boxing career, is significantly older and has experienced health issues in recent years. A fight against a younger, more agile opponent like Jake Paul would have posed significant health risks to Tyson. Ethical considerations. Many critics argue that such a fight would have exploited Tyson's legendary status and put his health at unnecessary risk. It would have been seen as a mismatch and a disrespectful act towards a boxing icon. Mr. Beast. Let's talk about the class action lawsuit surrounding the Mr. Beast game show on Amazon Prime. 5 contestants filed a lawsuit against MrBeast, Amazon, and his production company, alleging unsafe working conditions, including inadequate food, water, and medical care. Inappropriate harassment. Participants claim they were subjected to harassment. Wage and hour violations. Contestants allege they were not paid minimum wage or overtime. Emotional distress. The lawsuit claims contestants were subjected to infliction of emotional distress. Videos and leaked information have raised concerns about the physical and mental toll the challenges took on participants. Some contestants reportedly suffered injuries during filming. Justin Bieber. He has been facing a different kind of controversy, primarily related to his health. He has publicly acknowledged struggling with physical and mental health issues, leading to concerns among fans and the public. Additionally, Bieber's past association with P. Diddy has come under renewed scrutiny following allegations against the music mogul. This has led to discussions about Bieber's own past behavior and the influence of his mentors. While these recent events haven't directly tarnished Bieber's reputation, they have raised concerns about his well-being and have prompted discussions about the pressures and challenges faced by young celebrities. Media portrayal and victimhood. Everyone is so over Meghan Markle and want her to just be cancelled already. Some critics have accused Meghan of playing the victim and seeking sympathy, particularly in her interviews and documentaries. The royal rift. The rift between the Sussexes and the rest of the royal family has been widely publicized, with accusations of bullying and racism leveled against the royal family, privacy concerns, and paparazzi. The Sussexes have been vocal about their struggles with media intrusion and paparazzi harassment. However, some have criticized their public appearances and media strategies as contradictory to their desire for privacy. Pete Davidson has been involved in several controversies throughout his career, often related to his public relationships and online behavior. Here are some of the key controversies. Public feuds. Davidson has been involved in public feuds with other celebrities, including Kanye West, who has repeatedly targeted him online. Relationship controversies. His high-profile relationships, particularly with Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian, have generated significant media attention and public debate. Online trolling and harassment. Davidson has been the target of online harassment and trolling, often fueled by his public persona and relationships. Kim Kardashian. Religious appropriation. Kim Kardashian sparked backlash for wearing a rosary while posing in lingerie for a Dolce & Gabbana campaign. Many criticized her for using religious symbols in an inappropriate manner. Extreme dieting. Kardashian's extreme weight loss for the Met Gala raised concerns about unhealthy dieting practices and the promotion of unrealistic body standards.
Kanye West is probably the single most polarizing figure of 2025 so far. He has repeatedly made anti-Semitic remarks on social media, praised hateful ideologies, and took actions that many see as seeking attention through shock. He's even gone so far as to openly praise the tyrant from World War II during public rants, crossing a line for millions of people. His behavior isn't just talk. He's faced professional and financial consequences, with major brands cutting ties and widespread public condemnation. Now, what was once controversial, artistry has for many turned into something much darker. Why people hate him? Well, it's not one mistake, it's a repeated pattern of offensive behavior. His rhetoric and constant provocations make him one of the most despised names in entertainment today. Carla Sofia Gascon. Now, Carla Sofia Gascon has been at the center of a storm of controversy in 2025 tied to her lead role in the film Emilia Perez. While the movie received critical attention, her Oscar campaign was overshadowed by backlash. Old social media posts resurfaced showing offensive language towards marginalized groups, which clashed badly with the representation themes of the film. Her public apologies didn't satisfy everyone, and instead of clearing things up, they sparked even more debate. For critics, it felt like she avoided full accountability, which only fueled the outrage. Why people don't like her is because when someone is positioned as a voice for underrepresented communities, people expect higher responsibility. When that falls short, the backlash is even more severe. Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler has also found herself under fire in 2025, mostly due to her starring role in the remake of Snow White. Now, in interviews, she criticized the original fairy tale, saying the prince was basically a guy who stalks her. While some agreed with her take, millions of Disney fans felt insulted and accused her of, trashing a beloved classic. The fallout was immediate, waves of social media backlash, calls to boycott the movie, and even review bombing before the film was released. While she later attempted to clarify her comments comments, the damage was already done. People saw her remarks as dismissive of a story that has deep nostalgic value. Now, in an era where fans guard their favorite, franchises closely, her words struck the wrong chord. JoJo Siwa. Now, JoJo Siwa went from being a kid-friendly icon to trying to reinvent herself as a more mature performer, but the transition has been very messy. She's faced criticism over overpriced VIP concert packages, bizarre marketing stunts, and even scandals involving her makeup line, which fans claimed contained unsafe materials. On top of that, many people feel she's alienated the very audience that made her famous in the first place. What was once seen as a bright, bubbly brand for kids has been swapped out for something edgier, and critics argue it looks more like desperation than evolution. People believe she's cashing in on her younger fan base while abandoning the image that made her popular. Many are now confused as well on her current partner Chris Hughes and think she did her ex dirty, so there's that also. Prince Harry. Even years after leaving the royal family, he continues to spark intense criticism. In 2025, he's still doing interviews, documentaries, and projects that air his grievances with the royal family. While some people, applaud his honesty, others accuse him of exploiting his family drama for profit. His memoir and endless public appearances haven't helped. Critics see them as repetitive, self-serving, and disrespectful. At this point, many feel overexposed to his story, and patience has worn thin. People expected him to quietly build a new life after leaving the palace. Instead, many see him as cashing in on the very institution he walked away from. One thing is clear. In 2025, just being famous isn't enough. You need accountability, consistency, and sometimes knowing when to stay silent.
Considering Beyonce and Kim run in similar circles thanks to their Hollywood connections, their former rap husbands who were friends, and entrepreneurial backgrounds, you would think that these people get along, but apparently that is very far from the case. Rumors about Kardashian and Beyonce's feud started in 2014 when Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't show up to Kim and Kanye's wedding. Fans, being the way that they are, started launching rumors left and right, flooding the internet with possibilities. Two of the big ones were A, that they were too busy, which is fair, and the second being that Rachel Roy, who Jay-Z is rumored to have cheated with, was going to be there. In October 2016, the rumors escalated after a source told The Mirror that Beyonce has genuinely never liked Kim Kardashian. She's apparently tolerated her because of their husband's friendship and mutual friends. Beyonce also can't stand the whole reality TV shtick, which is fair, it's an annoying show. Of course, with it now being 2023 and Kim being long divorced from Kanye, there's a small chance that they've patched things up, but why would they? Beyonce's a superstar in her own right, and now that her hubby isn't connected to Kim, she just can ignore her while Kim continues to do her thing.
Back in 2014, Sarah Michelle Gellar definitely became Buffy the Kimye Slayer when she threw some serious shade at Kim Kardashian in Kanye West's first ever Vogue cover. Shortly after Anna Wintour approved April issue was revealed, Sarah would head over to her Twitter to say, well, guess I'm canceling my Vogue subscription. Who is with me? While many fans agreed with Sarah's tweet, including me, Kim Kardashian's best friend, Jonathan Schnubb, would retweet Gellar's post and he would say, do you even matter? Buffy fanatics would then even start to argue that she very much does. After much of a debate, even Anna Wintour would come out to defend her controversial choice to place the reality TV star and the rapper on her issue cover in the editor's letter by saying, as for the cover, my opinion is that both are charming and touching, and it is, I should add, entirely our idea to do it. You may have read that Kanye begged me to put his fiancée on Vogue's cover. He did nothing of sort, but if you have to come out to claim something like this, it's most likely it was true. Coming in at number 9, we have Jonah Hill. In 2011, Jonah Hill would end up slamming the Kardashian family in an interview, but even after admitting he hated everything the family represents, he still can't stop watching the show. During the interview, Jonah would count himself among the ranks of those who are still keeping up with the Kardashians, but only with great reluctance. And he even was too duped by Kim's wedding, and he would even state that the show took money and attention from people in the television industry who actually worked to create compelling original programming. Also, in the interview, he would go on to note that the whole show was a giant joke, and then he went on to say, the truth is, I have friends who work in TV, and Kardashians get higher ratings than their TV shows. That people actually work hard on writing and creating, trying to tell their stories. The fact that Kardashians could be more popular than a show like Mad Men, it's disgusting. But that doesn't mean he doesn't watch, as he would then go on to say, I can't even understand it, so I watch it. I think it's funny, and I definitely enjoy it, and I'm making fun of sort sort of way. But where does the line sort of end? When do I stop making fun of it and become an actual fan? And the truth is, you never actually do. Even fans aren't fans. We just find the drama so fantasizing because what kind of family actually has so much drama going on in their lives 24/7? It's just not healthy. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have Lily Reinhart. Lily Reinhart spoke out against Kim after the Skims owner admitted to undergoing a restrictive diet to fit into a vintage Marilyn Monroe gown for the 2022 Met Gala after Kim boasted about her losing 16 pounds to fit into the iconic gown worn by Marilyn during the John F. Kennedy's birthday party. She was able to lose the weight in 3 weeks. Lily would then take to her Instagram story to call Kim out by saying, to walk a red carpet and do an interview saying how starving you are because you haven't eaten carbs in the last month, all to fit in an effing dress, so wrong, so effed on hundreds of levels. To openly admit to starving yourself for the sake of the Met Gala, when you know very well that millions of young men and women are looking up to you and listening to your every word. The ignorance is otherworldly and disgusting. Please stop supporting these stupid, harmful celebrities whose entire image revolves around their bodies. Lily then noted, I'm generally not an angry person, but I swear to God the toxicity of this industry sometimes really gets to me and I have to head to my Instagram story to rant, to release my rage. Number 7, Michael Bublé. When Michael Bublé was performing his iHeartRadio live concert in 2011, he made his feelings about Kim Kardashian crystal clear when he said, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest. Please welcome Kim Kardashian. But after a short pause, Bublé then shot back, nah, I'm just effing with you. That B ain't coming on my stage, before transitioning into his cover of Nina Simone's classic Feeling Good, which he said was dedicated to Chris Humphries. Later he would explain that he hated Kim because she hurt Chris and he wished that she hurt him instead. Michael's diss wouldn't be the only backlash Kim would experience after she filed divorce from Chris after only being married to him for 72 days. The reality TV star even had to enlist in a celebrity lawyer, Marty Singer, to fight back against Jonathan Jackson, who claims that she staged her wedding among other things. Number 6, Daniel Craig. It's no lie that the Kardashian family has made millions from living their lives in the public eye thanks to their reality TV show. But one person who is less than impressed by the Kardashian family is Daniel Craig, who launched an astonishing, foul-mouthed rant about the family in an interview with GQ magazine back in 2011. The James Bond star even labeled the clan as effing idiots and criticized those who sell themselves and then make demands about their private life. When he said, I think there's a lot to be said for keeping your own counsel. It's not about being afraid to go public about your emotions or about who you are and what you stand for, but to sell it off, it's gone. You can't buy it back. You can't buy back your privacy. Oh, I want to be alone? F you. We've been in your living room. We were at your birth. You filmed it for us and showed us the placenta, and now you want some privacy. Referring to the Kardashians, Daniel would then also note that while the clan is worth millions, he doesn't think they were badly off to start in the beginning because of their looks. And then he would go on to say, you see that? And you think what? You mean all I have to do is behave like an effing idiot on television and then you'll pay me millions? I'm not judging it. Well, I am obviously. So the moral of the story is, if you want to be famous one day, maybe take some notes. Number 5, we have Rebel Wilson. In 2015, Rebel Wilson would slam the Kardashian family's meteoric rise to fame in a candid live interview. In the interview, the Pitch Perfect actress said she was frustrated that she had to work so much harder to get to where she is and where she wanted to be, by saying, it's not that I hate any of them individually, but it's just that everything they stand for is against everything I stand for, and they're not famous for talent. I worked really hard to get to where I've gotten to. Rebel didn't even want to be on the stage with the family's 2 youngest siblings at the 2015 MTV Music Video Awards when she said, I got asked to present with Kendall and Kylie at the latest VMAs, but I said no, I'd rather do it myself. She then went on to compare Kim Kardashian to her own acting experience by saying they aren't really about talent. I mean, how Kim got famous was from an X tape, and I went to acting school and worked really hard. Number 4, Reese Witherspoon. In 2011, America's sweetheart Reese Witherspoon was really ready to talk some trash when she went on a rant against certain breed of celebrities when she was at the MTV Movie Awards. When accepting a Generation Award from Robert Pattinson, the actress railed at the celebrities in vain of the Kardashians and Paris Hilton and other celebrities when she said, "I get it, girls, that it's cool to be a bad girl, but it's possible to make it in Hollywood without doing reality shows." While a dig was definitely made towards Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton specifically, Reese would also go on to say, "When I came up in business, if you made an X tape, you were embarrassed and you hid it under your bed." Reese would then go on to say another Hollywood trend she is tired of seeing is the leaking of celebrity nudes photos, and she would even caution those who end up taking them to cover their face so they didn't become the next Kim Kardashian. Number 3, Jon Hamm. Jon Hamm and Kim Kardashian's feud all began when Jon sat down for an interview and said, "Whether it's Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian or whoever, stupid is certainly celebrated. Being an exploitive idiot is a valuable commodity in this culture because you rewarded it significantly." The quote found its way back to the Kardashians, who responded by saying she respected Hamm and his right to have an opinion, but we're all working really hard and we all have to respect one another. Calling someone out who ruins their own business is part of a successful TV show. Producers, writes, designs, and creates. Stupid is in my opinion. Jon would then come out to clarify that he didn't mean to personally offend Kim Kardashian. He's just not a really big fan of the culture she represents. When he said, "It's surprising to me that it has become remotely a story. I don't know Miss Kardashian. I know her public persona. What I said was meant to be more of a persuasiveness of something in our culture, not personal, but she took offense to it, and that's her right. My quote was simply about the version of television and the version of American culture being celebrated, and it's not something that I particularly enjoy." Number 2, Joel McHale. Back in 2018, Joel McHale would land a new weekly show on Netflix 3 years after E! Pulled the plug on his pop culture show, The Soup. After he made a slew of jokes, Kris Jenner wasn't happy about it. Joel, who dished the dirt on E! From 2004 to 2015, told Variety that his streaming series will in some way be similar with its use of clips from television shows among the pity commentary. Reflecting on his years on The Soup, he would also speak about how one of the network's own shows, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, eventually became a no-go area for him, and he would say when Kris Jenner would complain about our jokes, and then later the president of E! Networks would simply ask McHale to lay off the Jenner and Kardashian family for a week, and then the administration and the president told him to his face, "Don't make fun of the Kardashian family. We don't want you to make fun of the Kardashians." Joel then went on to say that the network really wasn't happy when The Soup started to make fun of Kim, as they always joked about how Kim was only famous for having a big peach and the infamous tape, but I mean, they aren't really wrong. Number 1, Jeremy Renner. Back in 2012, Jeremy Renner would join the growing list of celebrities who have expressed an extreme distaste for the Kardashians. In a recent interview with the UK paper The Guardian, the actor would even claim that he never wanted to be famous, and while discussing the pitfalls of fame, he would unleash his disdain for the reality TV family. When the Kardashians' name was mentioned in the interview, Renner would reportedly roll his eyes and then call them ridiculous people with zero talent, who spend their lives making sure everyone knows their names. He would then add, "They are stupid, stupid people," which makes it definitely safe to say you'll never catch Jeremy spending his weekend binging on episodes of this famous reality TV family show. However, whether you like them or hate them, it seems like if you want to get your foot into Hollywood, you have to get on this family's good side, so you might just want to be careful when it comes to making comments about them, because you never know who might be watching.
In at number 10, Nick Lachey. Nick Lachey also exposed Kim for being a little too friendly with the paparazzi in order to get some publicity from him. The singer claims that Kim might have only been dating him for publicity. Apparently the pair only dated for about a week, and some shady stuff went down. One time he said, "Let's just say this, we went to a movie, no one followed us there. Somehow, mysteriously, when we left, there were 30 photographers waiting outside." And I think from that story, it's very clear that Kim was tipping off the paparazzi, so there would be photos of them together. And if you didn't already know, unless someone is like incredibly famous, if there are paparazzi when they are out, they definitely tipped off that paparazzi. And at number 9, Jon Hamm. The Mad Men star definitely has some choice words for the Kardashians, and based off what he said, it's clear he does not like the family and doesn't approve of how they rose to fame. With him telling LUK, whether it's Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian or whoever, stupidity is certainly celebrated. Being an idiot is a valuable commodity in this culture because you're rewarded significantly. It's celebrated. It doesn't make sense to me. So clearly he doesn't like the reality TV stars whatsoever, and doesn't like how our society praises socialites like Paris Hilton and the Kardashians. And like, I kinda I get where he's going. Like, he has some valid points. In at number 8, Kristin Cavallari. Kristin Cavallari has a very interesting relationship with the Kar Jenner clan. It all started when Kristin dated Brody Jenner, and through that relationship she also became friends with the Kardashians. But after Brody and Kristin broke up, there was tension between Kristin and Kourtney Kardashian. After Kourtney caught Scott out with Kristin while they were in an off period. And after that, Kristin called out the family for using that information as a publicity stunt to get viewers to their show. And allegedly, after rumors broke that Kristin and Scott were having an affair, the Kardashians refused to deny it, and instead waited to address it on their show, leaving Kristin looking like, the bad, terrible other woman, when it just wasn't even true. More than a little shady if you ask me. And at number 7, Barack Obama. Former President Barack Obama also couldn't hold his tongue when talking about the famous family, and it's definitely quite the compliment when the president is speaking about you. Or is it? The former president was talking about the changing dynamics of the American dream, and how it's shifting with time, saying, "There was not that window into the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Kids weren't monitoring every day what Kim Kardashian was wearing or where Kanye West was going on vacation, and thinking that somehow was the mark of success." And ouch, here it's pretty obvious he was throwing some major shade their way. And he doesn't seem to like how they are now the standard for what success is. And apparently Kanye West did not like those comments and actually fired back at the president. But also, since Obama was a former president, I trust his opinion and judgment way more than Kanye's. And at number 6, Kris Humphries. Kris Humphries was someone who probably challenged the Kardashian family the most and exposed secrets about them I'm sure they did not want out. Kim and Kris got married in one of the most lavish televised ceremonies ever, but famously, after only 72 days, the couple split because Kim was having second thoughts. But based off how much content their reality shows got because of that relationship, then the breakup, Kris called Kim out for fraud, arguing that the whole relationship was just a publicity stunt. And their divorce was so messy it lasted 2 whole years before it was finalized. But during the massive trial, Kris exposed that a lot of the Kardashian show was scripted, and that the show purposefully made him look bad. Like when him and Scott threw a party in one episode while the girls were out of town, and they looked really horrible for going behind their backs when they told them not to have the party. The whole thing was actually just a huge sham, with Kim and Kourtney knowing about the party and acting like they didn't know for TV, in turn making Kris look like a terrible husband when it literally wasn't like that at all.
Number 10, Chloe Grace Moretz. Chloe got into it with Kim when she posted a birthday pic mirror selfie in 2016. Like most things Kim Kardashian does, the internet went crazy with supporters and protesters. Even a ton of celebrities felt the need to chime in and tell Kim how they were feeling. Chloe posted to Twitter telling Kim that she truly hopes she realizes how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them that women have more to offer than just their bodies. Not one to let anything go, Kim responded saying, "Let's all welcome Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is." Shade. Chloe responded a few months later during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, revealing that she had regrets about giving Kim Kardashian attention, but not for the comments she made. She said she realized that being the most opinionated and loud person in the room is not always the most impactful. This tweet haunted her for years. In 2018, the Kardashians sent her perfume as a gift to her A-list haters. According to Chloe, she didn't even get the perfume, her publicist took it instead. After a few years of being asked about one comment, Chloe had to put her foot down and ask people to stop asking her about it because it's an old and pointless story. Number 9, Taylor Swift. The Taylor-Kim feud has lasted a long time and is extensive. While some may think that the only thing tying these people together is the 2009 VMAs, which is fair, that's far from the case. The 2009 VMA moment, where Kanye interrupted Taylor Swift as she was accepting her award for Best Female Artist, took the microphone from her hand and claimed that Taylor was great, but that Beyonce had the best video of all time. At the time, this wasn't a massive deal, but behind the scenes there was some shady stuff going on. When Kanye and Kim were still together, they were a toxic combination, so toxic that they thought it'd be a great idea to write a song where they literally call Taylor a word that rhymes with snitch and use her name. Later on in 2016, Kanye claimed that he was given permission to use the lyrics and was backed up by his wife Kim after she posted a clip from a phone call that took place between themselves and Taylor. Now, after the internet saw this, it was irrefutable evidence that Taylor Swift was lying, and the online feud quickly dissolved. However, in 2020, the unedited version of that phone call was released, and West did not ask Taylor Swift about the lyrics at all, and Taylor was forced to respond on her Instagram by saying simply that she was telling the truth. At the time, time they wrote the lyrics and made the phone call, the bit about Taylor being a snitch hadn't even been written yet. Thankfully for Kim, she split from Kanye, but the phone call just proved that Kim is a liar and only wants to be famous no matter what it takes. Number 8, Naomi Campbell. Kim Kardashian has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, from restaurant employees to her staff and supermodels. In 2014, Naomi Campbell appeared on the morning show where she was also asked about her thoughts on Kanye West and Kardashian's Vogue cover. Campbell seemed very hesitant to give an honest answer, doing her best to skirt around the issue while still giving enough information to viewers for them to realize that she was definitely throwing some shade at Kim, literally saying that she did not want to comment. When pressed about the answer, Campbell explained that she is a fashion model and she has been working for 28 years, and when you get a Vogue cover, it is a build in your career. It's a stepping stone to achievement, she said, suggesting that Kim did deserve the cover and had literally no further comments to make. Considering what she could have said, Campbell handled the situation pretty well and with a ton of respect, but bloggers attempted to add fuel to the fire in April 2019 when they started accusing Kardashian of stealing Campbell's most notorious red carpet looks. Kim set the record straight, saying that in this case, imitation was the sincerest form of flattery. According to Kim, herself and Naomi had talked about this before any clothes were worn, and the pair also created a short film with Cher in 2020, so either they patched things up or they kept it together for Cher, which I would do as well. Number 7, Bette Midler. Kim's birthday suit mirror selfie caught the attention of a lot of celebrities. One who chimed in just completely out of left field was Bette Midler. Bette is an incredible woman, well known for her music career. She is also a fantastic actor who is probably most universally known as Winifred Sanderson from the film Hocus Pocus. Bette posted on Twitter weighing in on her feelings about Kim, saying that Kim Kardashian tweeted a birthday suit selfie, and if Kim wants us to see a part of her that we have not seen yet, she's gonna have to swallow a camera. That is legendary. What a great roast. Please get this woman on the dais of the next Comedy Central celebrity roast as soon as possible. Kardashian commented back with a joke of her own, asking Midler to send birthday pics of her own, even though it was past her bedtime. Get it? Cause she's old? Ending the comment with the hashtag, just kidding. However, a few minutes later, she posted another, more sinister comment saying, Bette Midler, I really didn't want to bring up how you sent me a gift a while back trying to be a fake friend and then come at me. Kim's terrible, eh? But she did not have the last laugh. Bette responded to the comment telling Kim that she has never tried to be a fake friend. Looks like anyone can take a selfie, but not everyone can take a joke. Which is very true. How are you going to write the first joke about her being old, and then before she even responds to that joke, you comment again saying like, you know what, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but why not? That's a terrible way to start a conversation and a terrible thing to do. Number 6. Pink. A lot of celebrities seem to be upset and annoyed when Kim Kardashian posted that birthday suit selfie, and one of those powerhouse musicians was Pink. She took to Twitter to comment on Kim and her photos, shading her selfie and tweeting a photo of a note that she wrote pertaining to women. She wrote, "Shout out to all of the women across the world using their brains, their strength, their work ethic, their talent, their magic that they were born with that only they possess," and continued that it may not ever bring you as much attention or banknotes as using your body, your orientation, your identity, but women like you don't need that kind of attention. Pink does not hide her feelings, so when she came onto a show called Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, a fan asked her if her post was in fact in reference to Kim Kardashian, and Pink did not hesitate and said yes. Kim had apparently gone in on Bette Midler, and according to Pink, if you mess with Bette, you'll be hearing from the Pink. Number 5, Miley Cyrus. Miley is no stranger to a raunchy post or two, but when Kim Kardashian posted those birthday selfie pics that everyone seems to be upset about, it didn't go over well with Miley either. Her issue was not with the photo itself, but instead of the amount of attention that the photo had received. Miley was even prompted to create her own Instagram post addressing the issue. The pics from Kim became such a phenomenon that Miley just couldn't ignore it, in her words. Taking to Instagram, Miley posted a Kim-moji of Kim Kardashian's famous booty, clearly trying to let everyone know who she was talking about without actually posting any pictures of Kim Kardashian. She also included a caption addressing the feud, calling those involved tacky. Instead of asking the world to just straight up stop celebrating Kim, she attempted to shift the focus to celebrating women in general, posting to her Instagram asking women to celebrate each other, writing, "Why don't we overly fortunate women come together and try to create and bring jobs to other women in desperate need of them, so that they can support not only themselves but their families as well." Kim never responded to that post or showed any support of any kind for Miley, and eventually the world moved on to something else, but the message Cyrus was trying to share is one worth noting. Number 4, Sharon Osbourne. Sharon is no stranger to controversy herself, being fired from her views on The Talk, but that did not stop her from being one of the celebrities that vocally trashed Kim's mirror pics. Sharon even went so far as to recreate the photo herself in support of Kim, writing #liberated. However, while the photo is still up, she seemed to go back on her statement in 2017 when she berated Kim for the revealing photo. She wrote that Kim says she is doing everything in the name of feminism, but that this was not that. She said in reference to the Kardashian women as a whole that these women live off their bodies, half of LA has been through them, and everything they do from the tapes to the plastic see-through dresses and gym wear are all about sex and not female progress. Kardashian responded to the post saying that she never exclusively said that anything was in the name of feminism. Instead, she said she posts body-barring pics because she said, "I like how I look and I feel proud when I've lost all the baby weight," and she posts it because she feels like posting it and feels powerful. Those are her words.
Emma Roberts' co-stars said she acted like a spoiled Nepo baby on set when she refused to talk to extras and ordered other celebrities around. Now, one of the worst instances of this is what she did to her American Horror Story co-star, Angelica Ross. Angelica claimed that Emma could be a bully presence on set, once going as far as to misgender her in front of a director. Now, Angelica first spoke out about the alleged incident during an Instagram live. "I'm standing in front of Emma talking to her like this, and she's in front of me, her back against the mirror. She goes, 'John, Angelica's being mean,'" she claimed, seemingly referring to the American Horror Story director John J. Gray. Angelica claimed that Gray then said, "Okay, ladies, you know that's enough. Let's get back to work." Now, the actress continued saying that Emma then looks at me and she goes, "Don't you mean lady?" Now, Angelica said that she feared retaliation if she reported the alleged incident. Angelica admitted that she no longer spoke to Emma after the alleged on-set encounter. Then there's Kendall Jenner. Kendall Jenner comes from one of the most famous families in the world, and this has brought her a lot of opportunities. She made her debut at number 16 on Forbes magazine's 2015 list of top earning models, with an estimated annual income of $4 million. Now, in 2017, Kendall was named the world's highest paid model by Forbes, which caused some controversy to say the least. Now, after this, in an interview she did in 2018 went viral due to her working comments. She said she was never one of those girls who would do like 30 shows a season or whatever those girls do. More power to them, but I had a million jobs, not only catwalks, but everything else. Now, these comments made many people angry, including fellow models. Model Janita Lapina shared a screenshot of Kendall's quote with her take, saying, "We are all hardworking and worked hard to be where we are. Nothing was given to us," she wrote. Now, Lapina also posted an Instagram story of herself during a shoot, writing, "I gotta work," with the hashtag I'm not Kardashian. Moving on to Jamie Lynn Spears. Jamie Lynn Spears didn't get her fame from her parents, but from her sister Britney Spears. In February 2002, at age 11, Jamie Lynn made her acting debut in the Paramount Pictures drama film Crossroads, which starred her sister, Britney Spears. Now, following this, she got her own Nickelodeon show, which was ultimately cancelled after she got pregnant. Now, in July 2021, Worthy Publishing announced her plans to release a memoir, releasing a statement saying, "Jamie Lynn's book has been in development for the past 12 months and will allow the world to hear her inspiring stories in her own words for the first time." Now, her memoir, entitled Things I Should Have Said, Family, Fame, and Figuring It Out, was released on January 18th, 2022, but it appeared that Jamie Lynn used her sister Britney Spears' highly publicized struggles in conservatorship to promote her new book, which is just disgusting. Now, Britney actually called her out for this. On Instagram, she made a post with the caption, "The two things that did bother me that my sister said was how my behavior was out of control. She was never around me much 15 years ago at that time, so why are you even talking about that unless she wants to sell a book at my expense?" Next up is Alyssa Milano. In a long-standing TV feud, Charmed co-stars Shannon Doherty and Alyssa Milano decidedly did not get along. I think
think I cried every single night of season 2, Shannon once told Entertainment Tonight, adding that their competitiveness got the best of them. Now, in an episode of Shannon's podcast, their third co-star, actress Holly Marie Combs, finally revealed what happened before Shannon left the show. We were told by Alyssa it's her or Shannon, and Alyssa has threatened to sue us for a hostile workplace environment. Holly then went on to say that Alyssa had footage of what made her feel uncomfortable and that she wouldn't be afraid to use it. Now, Shannon was then let go of the show while Holly was seemingly coerced to continue despite not wanting to. They forced me to go back to a show I wanted nothing to do with, she admitted. Now, this wasn't the only issue though, as during a Twitter feud with Alyssa, another co-star, Rose McGowan, tweeted, "You threw a fit in front of the crew, yelling, 'They don't pay me enough to do this shh.' Appalling behavior on the daily. I cried every time we got renewed because he made that set toxic AF." Then there's Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland is the son of Donald Sutherland and Shirley Douglas, who were both successful Canadian actors. Now, Kiefer is a successful actor now, but not all of his co-stars have love for him. In 2010, Freddie Prinze Jr. joined Kiefer's action series 24, and then he gave an interview about his time on the show a few years later, and he didn't have anything positive to say about the star. Freddie said that Kiefer was unprofessional and that he hated every moment of working with him. Now, it turns out that Kiefer was more than a little unprofessional while filming their scenes together. As Freddie says, "That's not me talking trash, I'd say it to his face. I think everyone that's worked with him has said that. I just wanted to quit the business after that, so I just sort of stopped," Freddie continued in the interview. Yikes. Now imagine being so horrible on set that your co-star quit their profession. That is just so messed up. On to Lottie Moss. Lottie Moss is a model who, through her father, is the younger half-sister of model Kate Moss, and that's how she's garnered her fame. Now, she had a modeling career as a teen, and she now does OF, but it seems like she hasn't put two and two together in terms of people who don't have those advantages being resentful of those who do. Now, amid the conversation about the Nepo baby backlash, Lottie took to Twitter not to defend herself or her fellow Nepo babies, but to attack regular people. She said, "I'm so sick of people blaming nepotism for why they aren't rich and famous or successful. Obviously, it's not fair that people who come from famous families are getting a leg up because of that, but guess what? Life isn't fair. If you put your mind to something, you can accomplish anything. So instead of being negative about other people's success, go and try to create your own." Now, according to The Insider, Kate finds it all highly embarrassing and would rather not be associated with her. Dakota Johnson was born to actors Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith and followed in her parents' footsteps. Now, her recent movie Madam Web came out and it was just horrible and was met with a lot of criticism. Now, Dakota openly criticized the film as well, but it seems like fellow actor Russell Crowe had a problem with her expressing how she felt, and he has called her out. He said, "You're telling me you signed up for a Marvel movie and some effing universe for cartoon characters, and you didn't get enough pathos," he said in a recent interview with GQ UK. "Not quite sure how I can make this better for you. It's a gigantic machine and they make movies at a certain size." Now, Russell, who did declare that he didn't want to make any comments to what anybody else might have said or what their experience was, also pointed out that he has experience with superhero films, having starred in DC's Man of Steel and Marvel's Thor: Love and Thunder. He's also in Sony and Marvel's upcoming movie Kraven the Hunter, which is set in the same universe as Madam Web. If you're expecting this to be some kind of life-changing event, I just think you're here for the wrong reasons. Now, however, Russell did acknowledge that doing superhero movies can be challenging at times. You sometimes have to convince yourself a lot more than the internal mechanisms of your character. Now, I don't agree with him here, as Dakota wants to be a storyteller and be attached to her character, but it seems like she didn't have a lot to work with on Madam Web, and she was honest about that. I don't think she should be punished for that. And lastly is Ben Platt. Ben Platt began his acting career in musical theater as a child, as he is the son of Julie and Mark Platt. Now, his father is a film, television, and theater producer whose credits include Legally Blonde, Into the Woods, La La Land, and the musical Wicked. Now, Ben has been linked to the musical Dear Evan Hansen, where he played the lead role from 2015 to 2017. Then it was announced that a film version of Dear Evan Hansen would come out in 2021,
2021, and guess who was producing it? Ben's father, Mark. So of course, Ben once again took on the role of Evan Hansen, but once the trailer dropped, people called out Ben, who was 27 years old at the time, for playing a high schooler. Now the movie tried to do CGI on him to make him look younger than he really was, but overall it was just really weird. People on the internet also said it was nepotism that got him the role. It could have been a perfect opportunity to give a new young actor a leading role that would change their lives, but Ben took it for himself, all because his father produced it. Now, Ben does not like discussing that he's a nepotism baby at all. A reporter asked the actor about being featured in New York Magazine's Nepo Baby issue. "I'm curious, what was your response to that, and what do you make of that whole discourse?" the reporter asked Ben. "We're gonna skip right over that if we can," he then responded. According to the Rolling Stone reporter, Ben's publicist then added, "If we could just focus on theater camp, that would be great, thank you." Yikes. Now starting off strong, we have Kim Cattrall. The two stars may have played good friends on Sex and the City, but it turns out Kim and Sarah were nowhere as close in real life. Rumors of bad blood between the two co-stars began when Kim refused to participate in a third Sex and the City movie. Then in an interview in 2018, Kim called out Sarah in particular. She said, "I really think she could have been nicer. I don't know what her issue is, I never have." Things escalated even further in 2018 when Sarah offered her condolences to her co-star after Kim's brother passed away, and Kim responded with a bitter Instagram post dismissing Sarah's words. "I don't need your love or support at this time, at Sarah Jessica Parker. You are not my family, you are not my friend," she posted. Now Sarah, however, dismissed the idea that there was ever a catfight in an interview with Vulture that same year. "I've always held Kim's work in high regard and always appreciative of her contributions." Now in the reboot of the show, and just like that, Kim wasn't asked to be a part of the revival, even though it features almost every series regular from the original show. Now in the season 2 finale though, Kim did join the show and reprise her role, so who knows if their relationship is better now. Then there's Anya Taylor-Joy. Okay, so these two didn't work together, but they had an extremely strange encounter that I just had to share. Actor Anya Taylor-Joy was once such a fan who approached Sarah Jessica Parker, and she was a little embarrassed by the interaction, recounting the story during an appearance on the Drew Barrymore show in November 2022. "I was going through a really bad breakup, and I was like, hey, I just have to tell you, like, I've been watching you and Big and it's giving me hope," Anya explained. And she was like, "Oh, that you'll get back together?" And I was like, "No, that I will survive, that I can like move on from this and that it will be okay." Now apparently Sarah didn't take too kindly to this and said, "Okay, I'm gonna get in my car now." Of course, it remains unknown why Sarah wasn't quite sure how to respond to Anya's comments about Carrie and Big. She could have just said, "Ugh, I'm so glad," and carried on. But being caught off guard was probably the reason for this strange response, and Anya admitted to feeling pretty awkward about the exchange. The star did precursor her story by telling Barrymore, "It was a really bad moment for me," suggesting the meeting wasn't all that she hoped it would be. Yikes. Now we have Robert Downey Jr. As we all know, Robert Downey Jr. has had some substance issues, and this got in the way of his career and his relationships. Sarah Jessica Parker had a 7-year relationship with Robert, which ended in 1991. Parker said that her attempts to be the steadfast presence for Downey made her feel like a parent, though she was in her early 20s and both actors were struggling to make their names in the industry. "People around him would be dismissive of me, but I had given him stability and tried to create a steady heartbeat that allowed him to show up on time," she said. "That made me angry and embarrassed me." Downey, through a rep, told the magazine that he had great respect for Sarah. Speaking about the relationship, he said, "I was so selfish," he admitted. "I like to drink and I had a drug problem and I didn't jibe with Sarah Jessica because it's the furthest thing from what she is. Sarah Jessica would pull me out of a hangover and we'd go pick out furniture together. She is a force of nature," he said. Moving on, we have her staff. Now some of Sarah's emails were leaked and it appears that she had some specific rules for her staff. She instructs her staff household to refill a tiny 1.75-ounce container of Vaseline with a small spoon or knife for her children to use. She stresses that the refill jar can't be too big so it doesn't clutter the house, and the cutlery used to dispense the Vaseline must be hand washed using a paper towel and then go through the dishwasher. She also requests that a bottle of face wash and Neutrogena body wash be continually replenished for her son, James Wilkie, in his shower. But she insists the staff not buy multiples of anything and instead wants them to check the levels of each product daily, only replacing them once the product has completely run out. Now another email included her shopping list for Taco Tuesday, which included whatever meat goes in tacos. Yeah. Then when the New York family had pink eye, she sent the team specific instructions on how eye drops should be given to her 8-year-old twin daughters at the time, Tabitha and Marion, including how hard they should blink. Yeah. Next up is Oprah. Sarah was once on Oprah's show, and Oprah's gushing all over her, telling her how great it is that she's taking care of the family and how much work it must be. Sarah said though, without missing a beat, "I have a lot of help, I have a lot of people helping me," which of course is true. She's a multi-millionaire Hollywood celebrity, married to another multi-millionaire Hollywood celebrity, and she has her own household staff cooking and cleaning and taking care of her kids and running errands and all of that, and she wasn't afraid to admit it and give props to the mothers who don't. But Oprah wasn't having it. Oprah doesn't like it when it's pointed out that very rich, pampered celebrities have it a whole lot easier than regular people who do actual work for a living. Now, Oprah kept trying to get Sarah to admit that being a mother was a lot of hard, difficult, grueling work, and Sarah just wouldn't say that. She kept saying that it's not that hard when you've got a big staff of people helping. Seems like Oprah doesn't like her for telling the truth. And finally, we have all her Sex and the City co-stars. Now, fans of Sex and the City have always adored the chemistry between the show's four main characters, but Jessica's Carrie remained the lead throughout the duration of Sex and the City, and this was allegedly reflected in their salaries. According to Us Weekly, Sarah was reportedly earning as much as $3 million per episode, while her castmates were allegedly taking home approximately $350,000 an episode, which is just crazy. Now, the spin-off, And Just Like That, sees the trio reportedly taking home $1 million per episode, proving that negotiations had moved a lot since 2004. Now, during an appearance on the Origins with James Andrew Miller podcast, executive producer Michael Patrick King defended the disparity, saying, "The show doesn't exist if Sarah Jessica wasn't the blonde star of the show. I guess for Kim it didn't matter how much the raise became if there was never parody, but there was never going to be parody." Yikes. I cannot imagine doing pretty much the same amount of work as someone, but they're getting paid 10 times more than me.
Kicking off our list, number 10 is the Kardashians. The Kardashians are a majorly messy family that really need to be stopped. From failed business ventures to literally mistreating their staff, I could occupy an entire top 50 list of terrible things these people have done. The fact that they paid for a television show to be produced solely so they can share their lives with the world is another telltale sign that these people are terrible. They have documented themselves casually shopping for grave plots, tricking their sisters into thinking they're eating the stuff that comes out of you after birth. Yeah, that happened. And let's not forget Kendall's cringe-inducing Pepsi commercial. So good. Their mom took pictures in her birthday suit in the pool the family shares. And then there is the extended family, husbands, wives, and children. Scott Disick was a huge part of the family for a long time, and he is an actual tyrant. On top of his issues with no-no juice and substance control, he is also a very entitled man who likes to shove money down the throats of the people who serve him. Kylie Jenner has lied about her wealth to the point where she had to release an apology to Forbes magazine, who named her one of the youngest billionaires on the planet. She's also responsible for headaches and burns beyond belief at the facilities that create and package her beauty products. In 2020, while we were all at home trying to be, decent human beings, a lot of celebrities felt that they were entitled to their freedom, and the Kardashians were some of the most belligerent people on the planet, literally partying every chance they could and sharing those pictures with the world. I bought a VR helmet in 2020 and they partied on a rooftop with A-listers. How different our lives are. Number 9, the Smiths. Cheating rumors and dating scandals have followed the Smiths throughout their entire relationship. Since day one, people knew that they were in an open relationship or they were cheating with each other, and it turns out that those are 100% true, because Jada Pinkett Smith revealed in her Worthy book and the interview that she did like a week before it came out that herself and Will Smith were separated for 7 years. Jada and the rest of her family have often been linked to the controversial religion of science, if you know what I mean, though no members apart from Jada have ever actually admitted to being involved in any way, shape, or form. Jada denies that she's a full-fledged member, but facts are she's been spotted attending several church events over the years. Former member Leah Remini actually backed up the claims that Jada was involved, telling the Daily Beast that she herself interacted with Ms. Smith at an event taking place at a Scientology celebrity center. Their kids have also disowned them several times in the public eye and admitted to being raised by nannies, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was gonna be a biopic about this family sometime soon. They are just terrible. Number 8, the Biebers. Before becoming husband and wife, Justin and Hailey Bieber were slowly building up their careers as a musician and a model respectively. They met while Justin was still dating musician and former Disney star Selena Gomez and struck up a secret romance. Justin and Selena were constantly on and off again, so Hailey and Justin became closer and closer with each split, being friends at first, but now they became an item in 2018. Now, while they were both fairly famous before becoming official, following their marriage they rose to a new level of success and recognition. Justin has become one of the most replayed artists around the world, world, and Hailey has been working in the fashion industry, both on stage and of course behind the sewing machine. While their relationship may be true love, the fame and recognition that comes with their celebrity status is probably the only thing that's actually keeping them together. Number 7. The Cyruses. The Cyrus family really only consists of Miley and her dad Billy Ray. However, they've both faced several pressing issues ranging from substance control issues to infertility, but they have actually stopped speaking to each other entirely. It's pretty straightforward. Hannah Montana herself disowned her dad after he decided to marry a woman who was on the show with Miley when she was a teen. Billy Ray had a stellar country career before Miley got her own show. Some would argue that as time's gone on, that she started to outshine her dad. I'm just kidding, there's no argument. She is definitely more famous than Billy. Billy decided to pull a weird move though and started dating a woman named Fire Rose who acted alongside Miley on Hannah Montana. Miley stopped speaking to her father the moment that she saw them together, especially after she discovered how much Billy spends on jewelry and overall gifts. Number 6. The Timberlakes. Sometimes people should just really think before they do things, like when Justin and his wife Jessica Biel posted photos of themselves wearing #TimesUp pins on their way to the Golden Globes in 2018. Yes, at this time there was a ton of online presence for the Time's Up movement. Most celebrities in attendance that year were wearing nothing but black, and they were sporting the support pins. The reason people were upset with how Justin did things was because he had just started a project with Woody Allen, and for people who might have forgotten, the Time's Up movement was an initiative by women in Hollywood calling for a change in the treatment of women across the industry. So Woody Allen is controversial because in 1992 an investigation took place into the concerns that he had physically mistreated his daughter Dylan Farrow. Woody was never actually charged, but those accusations followed him everywhere he went, so anyone who was involved with him immediately got the similar accusations. This led many people online to call Justin out for the hypocrisy of wearing the pin while working with Woody Allen. Justin blissfully was unaware of the controversy, but he apologized later nonetheless. Number 5. The Sheen Estevez family. Despite not sharing the same last name, Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen were associated with each other a lot back in the day. Sons to father Martin Sheen, Charlie and Emilio were set to follow in their father's footsteps, and they did so pretty well. Emilio has appeared in cult classics like The Mighty Ducks and of course The Breakfast Club. Meanwhile, Charlie was in a ton of movies in the 80s and 90s, but he eventually made a home on the show 2.5 Men. Now, just because they had successful careers though doesn't mean they always got along. The family has had its struggles with substance control and no-no juice, with Charlie Sheen being one of the more infamous celebrities that there is. The family did their best to come together when Charlie was diagnosed with HIV and when their father had to undergo a quadruple bypass. In terms of acting, they've appeared together on screen a handful of times, but as time has gone on, they've grown further and further apart, leaving each other to their own devices. Charlie's troubles became public in the early 2000s, being seen as an unhinged man who was wily and more than likely under the influence of no-no snow. He was eventually fired from his show and has yet to be in anything new or net-worthy since Scary Movie 5. Meanwhile, Emilio reprised his Mighty Ducks role for a Disney Plus show, something that he actually was openly against for most of his career. According to his Breakfast Club co-stars, he's the only one who doesn't keep in touch because he thinks that the past should be left in the past. Number 4. The Baldwins. Alec Baldwin is not the only man with the Baldwin last name. He actually has 5 siblings altogether, each more Baldwin-y than the last. Despite having 3 brothers who have each gone on to the film industry in one form or another, you would be surprised to know they rarely work together. Steven has some pretty hardcore religious beliefs. They seem to clash with the beliefs of the rest of the fam jam. Willie Baldwin is another actor in the family, working in movies like Candyland, Fair Game, and Flatliners. And of all the Baldwin boys, he seems to have the least dirty laundry, but he's a Baldwin, so who knows? Danny Baldwin is the second oldest of the crew and is again an actor, usually playing in smaller roles and side characters with movies like Vampires and Bound. Together they make the Baldwin Boys, a powerhouse of acting family members, and you would think that with all that star power and family tightness that they would make one movie together. Well, they've only ever appeared on screen together once, and it was in a documentary called My Promise to PJ. Apart from that, they only star in separate films, probably because if you put more than one of them in the same room, they just kind of mold into one Baldwin. Number 3. The Duggars. For a long time, the Duggar family were shining stars on the channel TLC. 19 Kids and Counting was one of the most popular TV shows in the channel's history when it premiered, and it stayed on the air until 2015, when the show was abruptly cancelled due to the fact that Josh Duggar was arrested and confirmed to be guilty of some truly heinous and dark things. Not worth repeating, let's just chalk it up to he is an absolutely horrible person. The series, as you would expect, followed a family of 19, mom and dad, and 17 children. If you're curious about not only the motivations to have 17 children, but the actual real-world lives that they led outside of TLC, I recommend you check out the documentary about the family currently on Amazon Prime. It's intense. Despite the show being cancelled and World collectively agreeing that the show was a waste of time in the first place, TLC decided to give the sisters of the series a spin-off show. Josh was later sentenced to 12 years in prison, and the show is now a forgotten memory. Number 2, the Coppolas. So when you think of Nicolas Cage, you might be thinking, who is this guy related to? Didn't he just spawn out of thin air? Well, the answer is the late great Francis Ford Coppola. Nick's uncle, Francis, was responsible for some pretty visually striking and overall gripping films like Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992, as well as the Godfather franchise starring Al Pacino. Now, his nephew Nick really wanted to be a big screen star and had the energy to prove it. He was born into the Coppola family, so of course he would get a chance to prove his worth. Francis arranged an audition for Nick to be a part of the 1982 comedy Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which he got. It wasn't a big role, but it was enough for Nick to get into the right room with the right people, and ever since the year 1982, he's not only released one movie every single year, other than 1985 for some reason, but his on-screen roles combined with a few TV appearances here and there add up to over 110. 110 times this man has graced our screens and has been both exhilarating and exhausting. And at number 1, the Arquettes. So there have been a few celebrities in Hollywood with the last name Arquette, but the most popular and universally known is David. David's best known from the Scream franchise, but if I'm being honest, I know him from the movie C-Spot Run. I had it on VHS when I was a kid, and my goodness, I loved this movie. It's so funny. David is actually a really solid actor, but unfortunately his family history is a little worse for the wear. He's 4th generation in the acting world, with his great-grandparents being a famed vaudeville duo. His grandfather Cliff was a comedian who performed under the name Charlie Weaver. His dad managed the Second City in Chicago and continued to work as a puppeteer and actor after relocating to Hollywood, and his mom was also an actor. Now, all of David's siblings are actors: Richmond, Rosanna, Patricia, and Alexis. The family was close, but they were also raised on a commune for a good portion of David's childhood. Of course, they had to move there after the family home was burned down when he was young, because people suck.